of, this is what you will come for, is the annual award ceremony. And it's for the Levchin Prize. Dan Bonnet, who usually gives out the prize, cannot be here, so I've drawn the short straw to introduce it, so I do apologise that I'm not Dan Bonnet. It honours major innovations in cryptography that have had significant real-world impact. Okay, so let's kind of see. So it was started in 2016 by Max Levchin, who, if you don't know, is a serial entrepreneur who's supported a lot of cryptography projects over the years. He was one of the people behind PayPal, and he has donated in perpetuity an award of $10,000 a year to 2 recipients, so that's $20,000 a year in total. Okay, so while Max also can't be here, but let's kind of give him a virtual round of applause for supporting the community. Okay, so it's been going since 2016. So we have a plethora, or if that's a plethora, I don't know, of winners. And as you can see, we kind of divide them into, every year we kind of give a one award which is for long-standing achievement in applying in applications of cryptography for the real world. So, you know, you all know the names of Phil Rogre, Johan Damon, Hugo Kracek, Mihir Bellare, Merkel, and Neil and Victor on the left. And then on the right, we normally kind of give an award for something that's kind of got immediate impact and has been done relatively recently, and often by well, not often, but kind of half the time by a team of people. Okay, so there's a kind of method to the madness of giving out the awards. What do they get? They get this, the Levchin Trophy, which is a cryptex, and the award winners today have apparently already received their physical thing. So they didn't have to bring it with them or whatever. And it's kind of based on the Jefferson wheel from many, many years ago. Okay, so that's the lovely thing they will get. And if a team wins it, I suppose they have to fight over who has it, yeah? So there we go. Okay. So we're now at the point we can do drum rolls and whatever, and I don't know. Yeah. Good, thank you. The first award is to Don Coppersmith. And so I'm glad you all know who Don is, because you're clapping, so great, that's good. So this is for foundational innovations in cryptanalysis, and we can see just 3 of the papers up there which were authored by Don and which were quite foundational. Obviously DES, which we all still use today. I mean, we all know and love it every time we go to an ATM machine, we're still using DES. So this is like great impact on cryptography. Work on RSA, lattice attacks, work on discrete logarithms. And Don, and many more apparently, I missed that one. So Don is the recipient, there is his prize, and we can now, by the magic of the interweb, go over to Don and he can talk to us a little bit about whatever he wants to say. Over to you, Don.
Thank you, Nigel. And thanks to Max, thanks to Max Levchin for endowing this prize and to the committee for selecting me this year. I was fortunate to be in the right place at the right time. I was a summer employee at IBM Research in the early 70s and had the office next to Horst Feistel, who was the inventor of DES. The inventor of the scheme that eventually became DES, became the data encryption standard, which since superseded. Horst was generous with his time and his guidance. My task that summer was to strengthen DES against differential cryptanalysis. It was a wonderful summer job. The initial real-world impetus for an encryption algorithm came from a particular large bank which wanted to secure communication between its central computers and these newfangled ATMs. So DES needed to provide privacy as well as security against tampering with messages en route. But once the DES was in place, all sorts of applications presented themselves. And these applications continued to expand over the years. IBM allowed me latitude to work on projects of my own taste, which included signature schemes, integer factorization with partial information, discrete logarithms in finite fields of characteristic 2, and which of course are applicable to RSA and to Diffie-Hellman. I was able to dabble with message authentication schemes and various public key schemes. It was a great environment to work in because you could work in what you needed to. But a favorite occupation of mine in those days was serving on many program committees for crypto or Eurocrypt. So you guys are IACR members. If you happened to submit a paper to crypto or Eurocrypt in the 90s or the early 2000s, and if that paper happened to have a proposed crypto scheme, and you might have gotten feedback from the committee to the effect that this paper is rejected because the committee has discovered a devastating attack against this crypto scheme, namely X, Y, and Z. That was me. Sorry. I was asked to give opinions on where real-world cryptography is going or where it ought to go. And that's a tough question. It was a lot easier to answer in the old days, when the applications were commercial cryptography, banks and stuff, or military and diplomatic, the purview of government agencies. A certain quid pro quo was clear then. If we have high-grade cryptography and nobody can read our mail, then probably they have high-grade cryptography and nobody can read their mail either. But some newer applications have such far-reaching negative effects. I'm thinking particularly of cryptocurrency, which has enabled untraceable ransom payments and thus encouraged exorbitant ransom demands. I'm very sorry to see that happen. And I wish that that scheme had never escaped from Pandora's box. Again, thank you to the committee and thank you to Max Levchin, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Don, and I perceive it's a different time in the day for you, so you've had to get up early for this, so thank you very much for that. Thank you. Once more, round of applause. And back to the slides, please. Yay, okay, so the second award is to Let's Encrypt. And the citation is the word, is for fundamental improvements to the certificate ecosystem that provide free certificates for all. And anyone who's kind of followed certificates knows that Let's Encrypt has had a huge impact on certificates. So this is a graph from a couple of days ago, going back to the year dot, which in their days was 2016, of the certificates issued per day by Let's Encrypt. So this is the certificates per day issued, which therefore is securing the internet, securing websites for free for everybody. So that's really cool. And here's the team. And we have Josh, who's going to come up in person and say a few words. Josh.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate this recognition, and thanks to the Real World Crypto Steering Committee and Max Levchin. I'm tempted to name names, but there are a lot of people who have devoted a pretty significant portion of their life to this work. It'd be a long list. I'm worried I might forget somebody. So I hope you know who you are, and I hope you're proud as I am today. So currently, Let's Encrypt is used by about 280 million websites, and we issue a few million certs per day. When I was thinking about something, maybe I should think back on this experience and maybe I can come up with some kind of profound nugget of wisdom to pass on to other people. And I'm not sure that I have succeeded in that, so I apologize for that, but I got 5 minutes, you're here, I'm here. So I'm gonna give you some thoughts anyway. As you might expect, I think this started with a pretty good idea and a strong team, and we kept focus on the things that are important. And I think one of the most important things to us is ease of use. In the beginning, those of us who were thinking about this problem, we're thinking about, there's billions of people in the world who are living more and more of their lives online, and they deserve a more privacy, a more secure and privacy-respecting experience. And if we wanted to give them that, we were going to have to move hundreds of millions of websites to HTTPS. Not only we want them to move to HTTPS, we wanted that to happen fast, at least on an internet timescale. Like we wanted most of them to switch within 3 to 5 years. So we spent a lot of time thinking about this difficult problem in front of us. And we consider a lot of options. And in the end, what became Let's Encrypt started in a new CA of a certain type really seemed like the only option that was going to work. And in hindsight, it feels like a good and rewarding idea to have done that. But at the time, honestly, it was a bit of a frustrating conclusion to come to. It's not an easy solution to commit to. It meant building an organization, raising money, hiring a bunch of people, building a CA from scratch, something I did not know how to do at the time, certainly. And it's a lot of work. I think there's a part of all of us that just wanted to find a little bit easier solution that wasn't gonna, we didn't have to stand up an organization that might last 2 decades. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We wanted to find something a little easier. Maybe we make a dent in the problem and move on to other interesting solutions, but it really seemed like this needed to happen, so we set out to build it. We built a great team, initially mostly volunteers with a couple staff, and over time that ratio reversed, but we're still really fortunate that today we have a huge community of volunteers who help us with everything from translating our websites to offering great advice on our community forums, maintaining a bunch of the client software that people use. There's dozens, if not hundreds of pieces of client software for Let's Encrypt. We're really grateful to that community. Day to day, there's just 11 engineers that work on Let's Encrypt, and there's a small team that work alongside them, working on things like fundraising, communications, and administration. So it's not a big team for a big job, and this includes, there's a lot of rules in our industry. The tech can be a little complicated. There's audits. There's a lot of high expectations for security and reliability. So it's a huge job, and these people are doing incredible work. Eventually, we're going to serve maybe 1 billion websites, and we're getting ready for that today. And when that happens, the team will be a little bit bigger, but probably not a lot bigger. Efficiency is really important to us, and it's important for 2 reasons. The first reason is more principled. It's that we think it's our responsibility to do the most good that we can with the dollars that are entrusted to us. And the second reason is a little more, out of necessity. Raising money is hard. It is, we have to get our mission done on what's available to us. So, efficiency is really important. This team is doing amazing work. It's no surprise that ease of use is really important to any success that we've had. We try to make Let's Encrypt as easy to use as possible. I think it's sort of underrated how important the strategy that our certificates are free is to the ease of use question. It's not just a question of money and how much people are willing or able to pay. not charging people is a really important part of ease of use, because if you charge people, it prevents you from fully automating your system. At some point, someone's going to have to find a credit card. Maybe that's going in your wallet, but maybe that's spending 3 weeks in a corporate approval process. So eliminating the payment question is a huge part of ease of use because it lets us truly automate our service. Eliminating payments are also important for our reach. So I'm really proud of the fact that we serve every single country in the world today. There are people who need that. But if we charged anything for that, we'd have a whole bunch of sanctions that come into play, or additional sanctions, and a bunch of financial logistics that would really limit the reach that we have today. So all these factors, the financial stuff in particular, led us to create a nonprofit called Internet Security Research Group, ISRG, to support Let's Encrypt. And we're so thankful to everybody who has financially supported our organization and the work that we do over the years. It's how we get everything done, as people who recognize the value of TLS everywhere and contribute. So we're pretty easy to use today, I think, especially under normal circumstances, but we can do better. There are exceptional circumstances where we can do a better job with ease of use. One of the things I'm most excited about right now is some work we're doing in the IETF around Acme renewal info, which is going to help with sort of mass revocation events. Resiliency is really important in a PKI ecosystem. Automated, smooth resiliency is even better. So I'm really excited about that work and the progress we can make on ease of use over the next few years. So wrap up with a couple more thoughts on ease of use. It's not just about the software. It's about this sort of pas de trois, like dance for three. I'm a ballet fan, between software, finance, and legal. And these things really need to work together to make a service that has a great outcome. It's going to continue to be important for our future projects. I'm excited with some privacy preserving metrics work that we're doing. You'll get a chance to hear about that in some sessions this afternoon. Ease of use is going to be critical there. So thank you so much. Again, we really appreciate it.
So that's the 2 winners for this year. But we're always looking for winners for next year. There's a committee that will continue forever to give these prizes out. So we're seeking nominations. You can go to the RWC website to look at those nominations, or not to look at those nominations, to submit a nomination completely privately. You can't look at other people's nominations, that would be wrong, yeah, okay. But just to let you know, we're a bit bored of Satoshi getting nominated, because who would we give it to? Is eating up the planet a good idea with miners? We don't know. There we go. So please go to the RWC website. Please nominate people or teams that you think should get the award. And thank you very much. And once more, a round of applause for the 2 winners for 2022. And now time for lunch.